And now we're here.
And now we are
And
here.
now we're here.
And now the sound.
How do we
The
start?
How do we
the
start?
sound.
Yeah, how do we start? We make sure that we can hear things and
Yeah.
we make sure those technical difficulties are not technical difficulties.
There's a few times we started to do Trom-Cast and the audio wouldn't go through and they will talk for like 10 minutes or something and then oopsie. You know?
Yeah, I understand.
Not goodos.
Everything's good. Everything's good. Muy bueno.
Move my internet a bit. One second, because my upload speeds are a bit awful. Okay. So welcome to another Trom-Cast. This time we are going to celebrate things because more people should come because we celebrate. We officially announced it's like a big thing. Me and Sasha, we got married, so like yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
it's amazing. Yeah, so we didn't know when to make this public, and we were like thinking about should we go
You're all
public?
invited to the wedding, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, we should invite people now to the wedding. But you know, as fun as it may sound, you know, for some people, or as not as harmful as it may sound for others, it's actually a big pile of shit. Like we didn't want to do this, and we're going to explain to you why we had to do this and how we did it, and how basically the title of this Trom-Cast will kind of explain the reason why we got married, because this entire society that we live in on this planet is kind of like a prison, but people may not quite understand that fully because they just live in their own cells there. When you try to get out, you'll be like, oh, fuck that shit, you know. It's kind of easy, right? So we are going to explain that. Okay, so welcome to another positive Trom-Cast. That's what I was about to say.
The most positive one called Planet Prison Earth.
Yeah.
Before we
No
start,
way. I don't believe it's gonna be positive.
so positive.
So positive.
You'll see. It will be full of positiveness.
I can't wait.
Not
But-
from you to you.
Of course, because I got married, I'm extremely positive. I'm HIV positive, actually, and I'll tell you why. Because that's also interesting. You know, it's related to this fucking thing. But hold on, I don't want to forget about this. So I want to say that next week, hopefully we will have someone as a guest. So that's the first time that we have this kind of thing, and I want to bring more people like that from different projects. So we may discuss next week about some automation, or this guy has a project about automating all kinds of like small scale machineries and so forth. So maybe we'll do more of those, you know, so heads up to that. If you know you follow Trom-Cast, we might improve it maybe with these kinds of things. So next week we'll see. And yeah, if you want to participate quickly, you can go to tromsci.com/live, and we have a link there. Anyone can participate, video or audio to Trom-Cast. And yeah, let's go ahead and let's ask Sasha, because I connected with her so much with this marriage thing. How do you feel now that you are married with someone?
Oh man, I mean, it's you know, I feel like abused a little bit.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
I mean, I would, you know, we would never choose to actually do this, you know. So you have to think about you know, the first thing you should think about is, what is marriage in the first place, you know, because a lot of people see marriage as this like grand event of their lives, you know. I don't know, because it's a big party and because a lot of people show up. And Chelsea, you're planning on a grand event, aren't you? Tell us what it's all about.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right? I
Yeah.
don't have your phone.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
it's a very big thing, and you know, on one hand, I can understand why people make such a big deal out of it, but on the other hand, most of those reasons are just silly, and it's really just it's just the way life is for these people. I mean, they have to make it grand for whatever social pressures that they feel. I mean, the whole thing is just peer pressure for adults, to show that we are pair bonding and we have everybody's approval to be together. And it's a bit confusing. But then if you want to make sense of it, you have to believe what people tell you. You can't question it. It's not rational. But I mean, if two people really just want to be together and have to be exclusive, they don't really need to assemble the whole town to do it. But
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's always how I've seen marriage, is that it's a piece of paper and a party to prove what? To
a
prove
very,
that.
very expensive
Expensive.
party.
Yeah.
But people may wonder, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why did you get married? So to give it just a little bit of context, basically, Sasha traveled all around the world for the past 10 years or so, and as you explained in your article that we linked in the description, you did that many times because you are not allowed, right? You are not allowed to stay in this part of the earth or this part of the earth. So what's up with those rules that maybe most people don't know about? Can you talk a bit about that, because you have a lot of experience with this hopping from one place to another, and why do you do that?
Yeah, exactly. So depending on what passport you have, of course, you can only live in certain places and you can only stay in certain places for a certain amount of time. And it's not easy to just go and stay in a place other than whatever place you were born in or whatever place you have citizenship in. Basically, most countries let you in for just 3 months. I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself echo. Are you guys hearing the echo?
I can't see where it's coming from either.
Maybe it's just coming from you.
Okay.
Maybe just echoing in the room.
So most places you can stay for only 3 months. Some countries, maybe the most you can stay, I think, is like 6 months or a year. Of course, depending on what passport you have and where you're going. So for me, because I've been traveling for a long time, like, I don't know, 10 years or so or more, I didn't want to put up with any of this bullshit of applying to stay longer somewhere or to apply for some other kind of visa. So whenever my time ran up, I would just go to a different place. And for me, it was a pain in the ass sometimes, but sometimes it was, an adventure. But, half of the time that I was traveling, I was kind of made to travel because I just couldn't stay any longer. Wherever the hell I was only allowed to be there for a month or for 3 months or however long. And so I would just leave and go to a new place. And then that place would run out of time and I would leave.
That was the reason why you lead such lifestyle.
Well, it's partly, yeah. That was one of the
I thought
reasons.
it was your choice, not the
No, I mean, some of it was my choice, but not all the time, because I would have stayed in some places longer if I could have. But yeah, I couldn't. So I would just leave. And when I came to Spain last May, I thought I wanted to stay, and then Tio and I got along really well. And then, but I couldn't stay longer. So I left. I went to the UK. And I had to leave for 3 months because the law for a US citizen is that they can come into the Schengen zone in Europe for 3 months out of every 6 months. So within 6 months, you have to leave out of the Schengen zone for 3 months before you can come back in. So I did that, and then I came back in, and then I left again. And basically, if you keep on doing that, if you keep on leaving and coming back in, they will eventually just stop you at the border and say you're not allowed in anymore on this kind of visa. If you want to stay longer, you don't have a lot of options. Your options are basically to become a slave. So for that, you need a full-time job with some company that will hire you. And it's quite difficult to get hired because you basically need to be a specialist in something that a local person can't do. For me, I don't know what, especially in this little town where Tio lives in SRT, I don't think anybody would sponsor me to stay. Second, you can maybe enroll as a student, so you have to pay a lot of money. Third, you have to prove to them that you make, I think, 2,500 euros a month. So you have to have a lot of money. Or you can get married. So you go through this bullshit process.
Well, you probably have a business or have lots of money and you invest into something, into that tribe.
The point is either you have a lot of money
Mhm.
or you're willing to become a full-time slave. So you have to have a job that will sponsor you. And if you don't go by the rules of this job, then you will lose your visa and you won't be able to live in this place.
It was quite of a simple, if you think about it, a simple dilemma for us. Or like, how can both of us stay in one place together? That's all that we wanted to do. And interestingly, there is no place in this world except when I did my research for my blog that I just published. It's just one place. Svalbard. It's called. It's an island. It's like I think it's owned by Norway or something, and everyone can go there without a so-called visa. So no one asks you anything. You can just go there. But it's like, yeah, but it's like just 2,000 people. It's cold as fuck, and there are polar bears. So unless you have like lots of money and a gun, I'm not sure you can make it that well there. But that's the one.
It's in the Arctic Circle. I mean, it's cold.
Go for
There's polar bears, and that's the only place on Earth where everybody can just live.
Yeah.
So if you're two people with two different passports, which are just bullshit pieces of paper that claim that you're a member of whatever tribe, allows you to be that member, then you can't live together anywhere except this place with polar bears.
It's a very expensive place. I mean, it's not like the gates are open, but they're frozen,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because it's not like you can just show up and find a job there if you don't have much money,
Yeah, so that's what we were thinking, like, how the fuck, we are in this situation and how can we do it? And the thing is that we are quite in an advantaged place because with my Romanian passport, and being European, I have access to countries in Europe and also countries outside Europe for a visa, like 3 months and so forth. Sasha has 2 citizenships, which are quite the opposite pole, but good in the sense that they open doors for Sasha, lots of doors. But overall, even with all of that, with my passport powers and her passport powers, even that we couldn't like find a single place where we could just go and just live there. That's all we wanted to do. And it was extremely frustrating because, people may not think about such things when it comes to visas and how tribes put rules there and don't let you in, like prisons. I didn't think much about it until I met Sasha and I talked to her about it because I don't travel. I just stay. Especially when you are in Europe, probably even if you travel, you just travel inside Europe and it's free to travel. But if you travel around the world, and especially like Sasha, when she travels to like explore places, not travels because of her work or holidays, stuff like that, then you realize that, the Earth is really like a prison. It's like with prison cells and they have rules. You don't just go there, You go there for a limited period of time and then you have to kind of trade your privacy, trade your money, maybe trade your whatever, And that is scary if you think about it, because isn't it like, if you don't that doesn't make you furious, the fact that two human beings on planet Earth cannot live together because of such rules, then I think you don't understand that how we all are trapped. And I was looking at different kinds of passports and what they allow for people. And Shas, usually it's interesting because India, if you are from India, you're kind of fucked, Like Romania, you can go even in Romania to like 170 countries or so. India, I think, is like 60 or so countries. So I don't know what the fuck, why, but imagine being one from India and one from, I don't know, Iran, for example. You can't fucking find a way in this world, So we got it the easy way, and even that we will explain to you.
Yeah.
It was extremely fucking pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because the only option really you have if you have 2 different passports is to hop around from one place to another, to another, to another. And I've done that in the past, But if you want to stay together, you have to figure out, where you can both stay. And usually it's for 1 month, 3 months, not for a long time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even made an interesting map. It's an interactive map on my blog, combining like the powers of our passports, mine and Sasha's passport. Where could we live? And you can click any country to see like for how much could we stay there. And I think the kind of one of the best options in terms of like length will be, interestingly, Canada. That's one of like, I could stay there for 6 months. Yeah, Sasha could stay there for 6 months. But then I'm hearing Cody wanting to leave Canada. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to leave. I'm like, no, I think that's a great idea. So that was the only option, kinda, which is crazy. It's like, what can we do in this situation? So we got trapped. That's basically it. And then our only solution, because we looked into that, like, can we like register ourselves as being like a couple or whatever the fuck? Can we do it? And it was fucking difficult. And then we said, okay, I think the only way to do this fucking thing is through marriage, which is, if an alien will ask us, like, what the fuck is marriage? I'll be like, well, I don't fucking know. It's just like, it's a fucking paper. It's like, they go there and he said, another guy was usually in Romania, this fat, he's called a mayor, he's like, through the power of myself, I say that this guy and that chick, because they cannot unite two of the same sexes in Romania, so they can stay together, and then it's a fucking paper, and then you sign it, and that's it. It's such a stupid thing. Nothing changed for me and Sasha. It's not like now we can contribute to the society, we pay taxes or whatever the fuck. No, it's the same fucking shit. You just spent 1,000 euros going from Spain to Romania, stay there 1 month. You won't believe like how many like papers we have to like. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Your certificate, your passport translated. Imagine this: they have a paper to prove that for one you are not married, as if Don't these motherfuckers know? Like, why should I fucking tell them like I'm not married? You should fucking know. You already have those papers, and one paper that you are able to get married, which I don't know what the fuck that means. You're able to get married, and then you have to go to the hospital.
Maybe we should tell them the whole like procedure that we had to go through, because I feel like people think that it's oh, you want to stay in Europe or whatever, in US, whatever, or whatever country, oh, you just get married and then it's easy, I think maybe if you go to Vegas, I've heard that it's easy. You just maybe show your passports and sign a piece of paper, although I'm not sure if that's the case if you're not both US citizens or residents, but maybe. But it's not so easy. We first tried to do this in Spain because we thought, okay, maybe we can get this done before my 3 months is over. But you need a shit ton of documents. You need, birth certificates, the original ones. You need them translated into whatever language, Spanish in Spain, Romanian in Romania. You need those documents that Tio was talking about. We needed to go to all sorts of like notary places. You need to translate everything. So, and then do an interview and stuff like that. So in Spain, we kind of realized that it wasn't doable. One, because Tio needed to get one paper from Romania that would take 3 months, and my visa would be over in 3 months. So it was kind of like
Well, we're unlucky that Dima wasn't around because he knows Spanish, so he could have helped with translation and stuff like that. Yeah, that was a problem because we couldn't fucking understand. Like, it's difficult, especially when you talk about these specific things like marriage. Language barriers are quite difficult, So yes, those people can talk very well Spanish. I understand that, but we don't understand that well. Calm the fuck down. People in Spain are so fucking fast. Like, we couldn't do it, So it's like fucking shit. And I was like, what the fuck are we going to do? We are like, oh my god. And then we had to basically, so that we don't like bore everyone, you can read my blog as well about all of this. But basically we had to go to Romania, spend money there, and then to Romania go to many fucking different things, like US embassy, go here, go there, bribe this, bribe that.
I had to go to the US embassy and declare that I'm like eligible to get married. I had to like put my hand up and swear to the US official that, and the funniest thing is I didn't have any addresses except my license, which had my like Hawaiian address last time I lived in Hawaii. So I was like, I am Alexandra Rashidovna of Kamehameha Haleiwa, Hawaii. Like,
Very official.
dumb, yeah, just the dumbest shit. You know?
And that's
I swear that I'm eligible for this, and then they give you this official paper that proves that you are eligible for this bullshit.
that says nothing. It says only like she says that she is 20, 30, whatever years old, and then she is a female, and then that's it. You know. Good job.
Congratulations.
We laugh now, but I almost had like a mental breakdown because it's fucking crazy. When these people take this seriously. This is nuts. It's like because that's what kind of and then I'll stop and other people can talk about what prison art is to them. But I wanted to mention is that people take this marriage thing so seriously, like all over the world. Even scientists, like I know that it can be just a ritual that people are like, okay, just it's such a nice thing, whatever. They don't take it seriously. But I think most people take it seriously, and I observed that a lot in Romania, where even my parents or other people who knew that we do this only to stay together. So it was for us was a punishment that we had to do. They are still like congratulating us. They'd be like, "Oh, congratulations! Like, oh my God, how do you feel now that you are married?" I'm like, "Fuck!" Like,
How do you feel about like being abused and like all these fucking bullshit
young by the
offices?
society. You know? How does it feel like? So I understand that there are some people who do it and it's fine and they enjoy it. But overall, if you look at the fact that this is used as a mechanism to let people stay in some places of art, and if not, they won't be able. So it's a mechanism of punishing people or just or locking them, basically locking or unlocking them. It's a mechanism of doing that. Then to me, that's awful. So it's almost like social credits. When yes, some people will argue, and I can show some documentaries of some Chinese people who are like, we are very happy for social credits. They make people nicer. And it was this couple with nice social credits. Both of them were so happy that they have such good social credits. Well, but overall, it's a fuckery overall in China because it's a tool of abuse. So I feel like marriages are a tool of abuse. You may not feel it because most people are just marrying in their own little tribes, you know. But when you come to such things, like for us, it was a complete abuse. So I was even now I'm recovering, you know, from the fucking because it was awful, you know, to put up with all of this shit. So it was just it's not humane. That's why I think it's like a prison. You know, you have to get your way to prevent kind of cells. You know.
Yeah, it's not humane. It gives you like so much stress going to the airport.
Yeah.
It's stressful, and everybody with guns and stuff.
Yeah, airports. I think it's oh my god.
Yeah, they just make you feel like a criminal even when
Yeah.
you know you haven't done anything. Like,
Yeah, I hate that shit. It's almost like you really feel like you're a fucking criminal. There's like you don't want to say anything wrong, or maybe you don't have the proper papers, but everyone is like so freaked out there. It feels like the atmosphere is so tense. And I think you said that for you it always they check you like
like 9 out of 10 times I will get occasional check. Nothing personal, it's just a random check.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
do it your
totally random.
Yeah, just do the way I look.
oh man, you are unlucky, you know, or lucky, who knows?
Yeah, I know how to get attention. So
Yeah, once I mean it's really any border, not just airports. I was coming back from Mexico one time through the border between like Tijuana and San Diego. I just walked across the border. There's like a official walkway where everybody walks. And I was coming back to the States. I had like just received the US passport. So I was like, okay, these fuckers, they can't have anything on me, right? I mean, I'm a citizen. I haven't done anything wrong. I don't have anything on me. They have to just let me in, right? And I wasn't so correct because little did I know they like held me there for like 5 or 6 hours, like interrogated the shit out of me, checked everything, like went through my entire bag. The only thing they could find was my Russian passport, which is not illegal to have. And then they gave me shit about that. Like, what are you doing with this thing? I'm like, it's just my passport. And they acted like they weren't gonna let me in. I'm like, this is like, I'm a citizen of this country, you know. And it took hours and hours, like, and making me feel like a criminal. And they looked at my passport. They're like, how do you travel so much? I'm like, I just travel. Like, where do you get all the money? I'm like, I don't have a lot of money, and just go. Like, why do you do this? I'm like, I'm not doing anything illegal. Like, they make you feel like you're doing something illegal just because you don't have a job or you don't have like a normal fucking life. You don't live somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe they thought you were a Russian spy.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah,
to the United
maybe.
States.
who knows?
Yeah, they do that all the time with borders, especially with borders, and doesn't matter. It's you travel with the plane or whatever. They are very like serious and so fucking like they don't accept like anything that is a bit out of the ordinary. They are very like, what's your name? Like one time I was asked like where the car, and like they will look at the passports or whatever, and they look at my passport like, what's your name? You know, fuck off, motherfucker! I told him so stupid. Like even if it wasn't my name, I would fucking learn that shit. You know, that's the first thing that I would know. Like, what's your name? Yeah, Abdul. Okay. You know, shut the fuck up, you know. Or they look at you, you know, they look at you like this, like that. One time they put me like in the airport. I had like at one point like a bit of a longer hair, and then I had shorter hair. And in my ID, I had that longer hair. And the guy was like looking at me, and then he said, "Oh, it was the other way around because I had a bit of a longer hair." And then the guy told me to like do this with my hair to pull it back a bit, you know, to look at me. And I had to like do this. He looked at me, and he's like, "Okay, you can go." Like, fuck off, you know. Jesus Christ, these people are so serious. As if they stop anyone from doing anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Illegal.
Do they
Yeah, I mean,
stop
if
people from coming to Canada? Do they stop these illegal immigrants from coming to Canada?
I don't think they're doing a very good job. Stopping the wrong ones.
The wrong ones, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's more of like a front or like a deterrent. Like us talking about it now is like other people are like, oh man, maybe I better not go to do the thing at the airport or whatever. Like it feels like it's artificially inflated, like the threat. But the threat is also real.
Yeah, but it's also affecting people who are normal and not those like
Right? Yeah,
those who are
just
not-
everybody. Yeah, just
because those people who want to do some illegalities, they're like, fuck off.
yeah,
you know?
right. They're still getting their packages across.
yeah, exactly. Like if a terrorist wants to attack, they'll still figure out a way to do it.
Right.
Yeah. You know, so
You're going for the path of least resistance, so it's just maybe not the airport now.
Yeah.
Okay. Just-
Cars or knives, or they can use all kinds of terrorist.
Nail clippers, man. Better watch out.
Yeah, because they are like, oh, you cannot go with a bottle of water inside. You know, you can only buy some after you go to that fucking check-in. You just buy it at like 4 times the price of a like bottled water and 1,000 times the price of like tap water.
Awesome.
infinite amount.
What a deal.
Yeah, that's what they do. And I've seen this in airports. It's crazy. It's like when you go after you check in, you go exactly to a big store of perfumes and all kinds of shit. Like, what the fuck is that? That's the way. From check-in, you go direct to there, you know. So you have to go. They force you to go to a shop.
The duty-free store.
Duty-free store. Like, what the fuck is like? They have no shame. These people.
Have you been to the Dubai airport?
Mm-mm. I'm sure it's
No,
very
that-
shiny.
No, that's just a giant shopping malls where planes can
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
It's so freaky. It's like I've only been there once on my way to the US, and I got out of the plane from India, and then I was walking through the airport, and I was like, "This is not an airport. This is like a shopping mall." It is just, and you can buy anything there. You can buy property there. You can buy flats. You can buy cars. If you come to Dubai with nothing but just money, you can get everything by the time you leave the airport. And
Yeah.
and I think, who's buying houses in the airport? Like, oh, you come to Dubai and you say, oh no, what do I need right now? A car. Let me buy it. Where at the airport? Who does
There
that?
might be some rich motherfuckers who may do that. Who knows? You know?
Yeah, but if you're so rich, how do you turn up at Dubai with like no car?
No,
Because you
yeah.
can buy there, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll buy a new one.
It is so bizarre. That reminds me when I got to New York, I got down at the airport, and the guy in the counter, he didn't even look at me. I thought I was a bit nervous because might get randomly checked, but the guy didn't even look at me. He just took a look at my passport and he's like, "Okay, move along." I was just like, "What?" The guy back home in my airport gave me a good solid 5 minute stare. I got disappointed.
How was it for you to get a visa to the US?
Oh, it was easy because my company applied, and then I got a business visa apparently.
Yeah.
So I can go to the US, stay there for a period of 6 months, and then come back, and I can do that for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the thing on this planet. It's like if you're connected to some kind of business, then it can be easy. So people make it, kind of believe that, it's not that bad and whatever. But maybe they don't understand that, okay, in order to get this kind of easy visa, it has to be connected to a job. So you can't just not have some kind of job, and if you're not from, one of the good countries and just come into the rich countries.
You can't just be a human being. You have to be a human being with so many conditions for you to be considered normal. Which is very ironic because it's not all these jobs and all of the shit we make up is not natural, and all these unnatural things are somehow considered normal. And that's the bizarre part of it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are just actually just bloody scared that people are going from some random place on the earth. People are going to come all the way, and they're going to steal your shit, and then they're going to go away with it. And that's why people will fly 3,000 miles to come steal your shit, because they can.
Yeah, it's this fear of like, imagine if we open the borders. Oh my God, everyone will mix with everyone. We don't even know where America is anymore, because it's so much. But it was this funny thing. I don't know if I say that in Trom-Cast, but it's worth mentioning. In Europe, Romanian people are almost like Romanians are coming, oh my God, the biggest immigrants in Spain.
Yeah, why is that?
Are Romanians.
I see a lot of that online, and I never understand it. Like,
because
what is it about Romanians?
It's a you can make it 3 times more money in Spain, for example, than in Romania. So, but here's the thing: that interesting thing is that they did that in UK. They're like, we open the borders to Romanians. They allow it for Romanians to go in an easy way to UK, like a few years ago,
and live there and work there.
Yeah, live and work there. And then the day that this law came into place, came into like existence, came into like reality, all of like the press and media was there at the airport waiting for Romanian people, coming. And then it's this funny story because like this just one Romanian guy comes with the fucking airplane with the other British people, and everybody jumps on the guy and they text to have interviews with the guy. And the guy was like scared. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's like, we are hearing that Romanians are coming to UK. It's like, oh, well, this is like, what the fuck, And no one came. There was no influx of Romanian people because Romanian people don't want to go to other places, really. They go because they run away maybe from Romania, but they also come back, kind of. They just go make money. And I've heard some, for example, interviews I've seen in documentaries and forth with people from Africa, like full countries in Africa, who migrate to Europe. It was this big influx in 2016, 2017. And, if you hear those people, they will say, look, I don't want to go from fucking Africa where my family is, where my friends are. I don't want to go to Europe. Fuck that shit. The only reason I go there because it's so shitty here, and I want to make some money and even come back maybe. But so it will not be an influx. It will be maybe more of a migration, but you should look at why people want to leave those places in the first place. Because if those people want to leave, they will fucking leave anyways. With millions of people. Like, I think 1 year was like 1 million people migrated to Europe in 2016 or something like that. So if they really want to, they will migrate anyways. That's the idea here. I don't think if you open the borders, like look at Europe, people can move around pretty freely, and work. Even despite that, Romanian population was like 20 million people. Now, many years later, it's almost the same. It's not like they just fucking left Romania and that's it. Fuck that shit. It's not like that. People exaggerate such things in a crazy way, and I feel Americans exaggerate that crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mexicans! Oh my God! Build a big wall and dig a hole, so we can trap the Mexicans and send them back.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to consider the reason that they're leaving, because if it's even mediocre, okay, and even bad, and not to the point where people are dying, and really in trouble in their place, they don't want to leave. It's their home. Even if it's a shitty place, it's still their home. They leave when it's really shitty. I mean, in big, huge amount of people. They will leave because it's really, really shitty. So what should these rich countries do? They should help the other countries, make a better home, make a better world, not to just cut them off. Especially because the reason those people are so fucked mostly is because of, big Western companies going there, making fucking mines, deforesting the place, destroying their environments.
Yeah,
not to
there's, like,
mention
US
the history of,
US goes to like these Arab countries, they fuck them up, and then those poor people who had nothing to do with this, they want to flee that, and even may want to go to US, and US is like, well, it's not our problem, what the fuck, we are not going to like let you come in. Well, motherfucker, you kind of destabilize that shit there, and you fuck those people up, and now it's like, oh, no one can come, the same with Europe, so
yeah.
Foreign U.S. intervention just messing up like countries who are not in line, like Venezuela, Cuba, or any other.
Yeah, I mean that's a serious thing. Trump just came over and he made our guys not buy Venezuelan petrol. And that's fucked up. We really need petrol. And Venezuela can use the money. Why not? But I think that's a very good point, because most of these people who are migrating, I think they live off subsistence. They live in their homes and they make just enough to live there, not do very much more.
True.
you see even people who go, like, we know in Romania it's quite of a thing that people go in these like countries like Spain or UK and so forth, but they go there to make money to like build their own houses, home in Romania. Many times they do that. Like you can see that when you travel with the airplane to go back to Romania, you can see like Romanian people with huge fucking luggage. It's like, oh my God, they bring everything to sink. They like, my parents, I know very well. They brought a sink from Spain, like a big one. They put a chair and all kinds of stuff. But I understand them because, they are, even my parents, their life here is much better in many perspectives, but they still want to go back, So I don't think it's going to, even if there will be like free borders, I don't see it as being a big problem. You will ease the burden and the stress on most people. I would say it would be an improvement, like, even in today's world. You don't force people to go to this unnecessary shit. And fuck them. I know there are people in Romania who like marry with people from Moldova just because, I think there are even websites just to get a visa. And it's like a business, even this marriage shit. At least me and Sasha, we did it because, and we are also together. So it's like, I don't think we can get into troubles now that we talk about it, maybe. But other people, they just don't even know each other and still do it. And it's possible, even in Russia, there's people from Russia want to come.
Oh, all the time. I mean, yeah. There's like websites, Russian brides.
Russian brides.
Yeah.
That's how my parents came to United States. They did like a fake marriage with some, and then they allowed them to come here.
Mm-hmm. You see?
Yeah.
One of your
Wow.
parents was American, or they both came and married somebody else?
both.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
both had to come through some. Yeah, we have to drop like a lot of money and save it.
Oh, that's funny. So both of your parents married a different person
Yes,
while
yeah,
they
and
were
that's
together,
take
or
pictures
before that?
while they were together.
Oh,
They
that's
had to
funny.
take pictures with the other person while in Cuba
Oh,
to make it look like it was an actual family or like they were actually, it was funny. It was funny.
oh, please
Wow.
congratulate them from our.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Oh,
on your
man.
marriage. But I mean, yeah, you can say congratulations that you got in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating, this whole the marriage thing.
Oh.
Yeah, was that very costly and difficult for them?
It did cost money, but we have relatives in the United States already who like help pay. They help pay like because in Cuba like $1 is like 24 pesos. So
Okay, right.
and it's expensive. So we had foreign help though, like from our relatives.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time choose a better tribe. If you
Yeah.
want to migrate,
Yes.
because they don't even give you health insurance. Even here we were quite surprised after all of this bullshit that we went through. Like Sasha even gets free healthcare now from the state, and she didn't even ask us for anything. Like she just like, yeah, we get just free healthcare. Give me her passport, and then that's it. And in US, because it's funny, because she is from US, In US she doesn't have health insurance, of course. Money.
So you can't afford that shit.
It's expensive.
And it was funny because some people in Romania, when they learned that they found out that I'm marrying, and it's like to a US citizen, because it's like, oh my god, they were like, dude, congratulations, you got that American passport. I'm like, what? It's exactly the opposite. I want to save Sasha from like US, That's so stupid. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in US people are a lot more enslaved than in Europe. I mean, for one, because they don't get health care. I mean, how much of like a fundamental, thing should that be, healthcare?
Yeah, it's expensive, really expensive.
It's insane. Yeah, my brother pays for he pays I think $500 a month to just cover like emergency.
He can
Emergencies
give
in
3 calls
US.
a week to the hospital.
Yeah.
Calls a week for 500 euros.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but of course, that's just one thing of this prison art. But like, say, Cody, what do you think? Like, what else do you think is like? It smells like us being kind of prisoners here because you cannot quite be
Yeah,
free.
you can't move. I can't move. I would very much like to spend some extra time in Spain. I'm on the 3-month limit as well, and yeah, like my only ways in are like marriage, or there is like this special kind of visa, but you have to qualify, and then you have to have X amount of dollars in your bank account, and you have to pay for your health insurance for the whole year in advance. Like, there is a process. There's no easy way to shuffle around, it seems, even with this great Canadian passport.
Yeah, with a great Canadian passport, you can travel around a lot of the world, but 3
You're
months
still
here,
on
1 month here, 3 months
still
there.
those
Yeah.
limits, and until you kind of you wrote that article, and like reading through your blogs and stuff, and seeing you like having to shuffle around and stuff, you don't give it any thought that like, oh, I can't do this thing until you hit that wall. And I think the first brush I even had with that was when I went to the States, and I was trying to stay down there for 6 months. That's the amount of time you're allowed to. But they held me up at the border and did the interrogation thing because I didn't have land. I wasn't a student, and I didn't have all these check boxes. So it's like, this suspicious guy, yeah, he just wants to stay here and leech off. Like, okay, yeah, sure. But yeah, they did like it was pretty harrowing, and they would have sent me home too, but because my ticket wasn't refundable from my airplane, they're like, just fuck it, let him stay here for 6 months. So it's like, it's just like a really weird kind of like by the book nobody's really like putting on their thinking caps. It seems it's just like, here are the rules, and no, any like there's no room for negotiations or understanding, or yeah. It seems like you're
But
up. Go.
to their defense, you really look like you're dangerous. So
Oh yeah. Well, as soon as I put on,
you gotta keep the country safe.
I put on the
Yeah,
hood and the
this guy-
aviators, and I'm the Unabomber. Like,
this guy comes from Canada. That's not safe. Those people are very dangerous.
But I remember my first realization was actually when I went to Canada when I was 18, and I wanted to just live there and snowboard and just stay there for the winter season in Whistler. And I drove to the border for like the third time or something, and I had all my stuff in my car, and I was really excited. I even had a season pass for Whistler, and I was like driving up to Vancouver, and at the border they stopped me and they checked my entire car, like they went through all my shit, like took it all out, and then they like interrogated me and asked me like, oh, you want to live here? I was like, yeah, I want to live here for the season. Like, I want to snowboard here. What's the problem? And they're like, oh, you're not supposed to tell me that. You're not supposed to live here. You don't have like the right pass. You don't have the right papers. I was like, what? Like, I'm just an 18-year-old kid. Why can't I just live there and snowboard?
yeah.
And then I realized like, oh fuck, I told them the wrong thing. Like, okay, next time I come in the border, I say I'm just visiting for 1 week and then I'm coming back.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it
It's
even
so silly.
Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, it's so silly. Yes, because you just say what they want to hear.
Yup.
And act like. Yeah, that was it.
Well, yeah, it encourages like dishonesty basically, or at least like kind of this riding this fine line, and that you're playing like this word game, and there's word traps for you, and so it's like song and dance. It really just feels like you're going through. There's not I don't know. It's nonsense.
It's like in school, where kids lied, in school because they said what the teacher wanted to hear, but then behind their backs they were doing whatever they wanted to do anyways.
Right.
It's the same thing, happens.
So it's keeping up appearances is what that would be, and that's just like, okay, but then do you really care about that? Like, it's frustrating.
So a lot of people would say like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. What are you talking about? A world without borders?
Oh my God.
You think that this could possibly happen? Like,
I mean, we'll already have such world. It's online world without borders. I mean, there are some enclaves of countries who isolate themselves, but more or less,
right,
it's working great.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think, I think it'll happen, and I hope like the freedom to move around. I think the borders won't dissolve right away. That we'll still have like countries and the rulers within them, but hopefully that the people are able to. Because I mean, it's already moving this way with like outsourcing and you get those specialists, and I want to pull the guys from India, and I want them to work for me and stuff like this. So
mostly they,
I don't want to go anywhere.
Send him back. Send him back. I didn't want him in the first place.
Because I don't think most people understand that. Like, most people just don't want to go anywhere. Like, they would much rather have. I mean, imagine it. Imagine if you got everything you would want to do within walking distance of your room. Would you really need 3 bedrooms? That's how I think about it, because on days that I take off from work, I rarely ever leave my room because I spend most of my time reading or looking out the window. I mean, but I have everything I need very close to me, right? It's only when you make it seem as though, there are certain things like if my house is on fire and I'm not fireproof, then I have to leave the house. And if the only other available house is next to mine, and it's closest, I would try to go there. Right? It's
right.
Most people will not move unless they have a very, very good reason.
So, Shaz, if you wouldn't need to go to the work, you would just stay at your home all the time?
Yeah, I'd stay at home, then go out for walks, talk to people, and I wouldn't feel the need or the pressure to be forced to go out anywhere. I'd go when I choose, and most of the
Yeah,
time I wouldn't go anywhere really.
but
I
I don't
wouldn't
think
spend extra effort.
anyone forced you to go somewhere except the job, probably. So like
Yeah,
the traveling is more like a luxury today. I mean, the way Sasha travels, it's of course not luxury, but it's not for many people. It's more for like weirdos and alternative guys, and
yeah.
so
I mean,
general population
that's
won't travel like that.
You calling me a weirdo?
I think so.
no,
Not
not
so.
because
Take it as a compliment.
no, it's so bizarre because for a long time people were nomads. Nobody stayed anywhere, and now what you're doing, Sasha, is this: you're being a nomad, and it's nobody should call you a weirdo at all. You're doing something that people have done for thousands of years. In fact, the
Yeah,
rest of us are weirdos.
why did she get problems on the borders if she's just nomad?
Because that's not
Yeah, you tell that to Border Patrol.
But you know that there are some people, some organizations that provide this like universal passport. There's like, I'm a human being and I'm allowed to travel anywhere I want. And I was looking into this kind of like, but people are laughing at them. It's funny because people are laughing at them, like, ha ha ha! Look at these crazy people. They want to make a passport for human beings, to travel everywhere.
Yeah, imagine showing that to the U.S. Border Patrol guy.
There is a website where people post those who are able to cross the border somewhere, and they post the photo of like, hey, look, I managed to go to Spain, I managed to go to whatever, Canada. But they are very rare this happens. And there are even some videos where these people going to the border with this fucking thing, and like the border patrol, you can imagine, the clash of values there. It's like, what the fuck is this? I just want to travel freely. This is no one's earth. And it's like, fuck off, bring the dogs here. Let's say this guy is on drugs or something.
Yeah, I mean, because the Border Patrol person can lose their job if, they let somebody in without proper documents. And if that isn't, respected as a proper document, then they won't let you in, and that's it.
And if people were to migrate to these like open borders places, why aren't they migrating to this Svalbard thing? Because you may say maybe they didn't hear about it. Well, let's tell people about it and let's see if they will migrate there. Because I'm sure they won't. Because it's for many different reasons. Even if it will be a nice place, I don't think they will migrate there.
I think it's a cool place. I actually wanted to fly there.
But you didn't know that it's open borders.
Huh?
You didn't know that it's open borders, basically.
No, yeah, I think that's probably what Sash said. You first have to go to Norway. And if you're allowed to go to Norway, then you can fly to Svalbard.
Yeah, so it's not that easy because if you come from like Uganda, I don't think they'll easily let you into Norway,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why people won't go there, because it's hard to get there. If it was easy, there will be lots of people maybe coming, huh?
No, you just have to promote it well through the media and through the movies, through the pop stars and stuff like that, and everyone will be there next day.
Promote it like Fire Fest, but Ice Fest.
You see, it's a great idea.
Because that's just one part of being a prisoner. It's not like, oh, Svalbard is there and people don't go there because it's far away and it's hard to reach. It's also that even if it would be easy to reach, you don't just go there. Now you have to like trade to stay there. You can't just fucking eat deer and take care of your own health. You have to do something to trade in this abundance of stuff. That's another part of being a prisoner, I feel, on this planet, is that you depend on. So we have so much stuff, but only a few companies on them, and you have to trade for that shit. Else they just throw it away. You're not allowed. There are places like even in US, I think in many states, homeless people are not allowed to scavenge to garbage bins and take stuff because it's considered as public property, and they are damaging it. So they're not even allowed to do that. Imagine the fact. So you are
like garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that by my own experience. They sometimes even put like paint there inside the bins so that you mess up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard even like poison being put on the bins.
Oh, fun.
I've heard about that, but never kind of seen or experienced.
That would be a bit
So
fucked up.
I have a question
A
about
bit
that.
fucked up.
The poison.
So I have a question about that. So if I go to a homeless person in this place and I dump my garbage in their, their cart, will they get arrested?
It could be.
Mm.
You know that they can arrest you and the guy, the homeless people, if you give them food. You know, in many states you cannot even give them food. You're not allowed to
Right.
feed the homeless
I
people.
actually have seen some videos where it was in America, not sure which state, but yet like the homeless guys, they were charged like a fine for like taking rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
even food, like
basically,
Mhm.
basically, if you don't trade, it's illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's more illegal to
Yeah.
take something which is not yours, kind of thing.
But there's
It's
also
No,
like
but if
one
I
way.
But I'm saying if I give a homeless person food
Mhm.
and I
You're
could
not
get
allowed.
arrested for that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can, because they think they say that you are encouraging people for being whatever homeless or whatever. You make
You're encouraging. Wow.
this.
You
No,
demotivate them to look for a
no,
job.
but how easy is it to bypass that law? It's a totally bullshit law. I mean, I could say whatever the homeless person has, I can say, you give me your jacket and you eat this food, right?
Mhm.
And give him the food and then say, now I'm going to give you back your jacket for the shit that you ate it from. So I take the plates back from you. I still get arrested.
You will get arrested.
Um,
Don't do that when you go next time to US. Okay, be aware, because who knows, they may arrest you for feeding homeless people. Is this guy from India coming here giving jackets and food to people?
Giving food disguised as jackets.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was Florida where they actually arrested those I think it was one or two preachers that were feeding the homeless, and they're like, "Drop the plate." Like, okay.
That's so American. Drop the plate.
Yeah, drop the plate right now. Hands above your head.
but isn't charity Christian? And if you are making charity illegal, aren't you anti-Christian?
Uh-oh. Bernavas, you're asking the difficult questions here. Don't ask those questions, man.
You can have only one irrational belief at a time.
A cap on insanity. All right.
Yeah. So that is kind of the main point here when we talk about prison art, is like the borders. You know, that's what I think is more. It's this very like it describes very well. You know, the situation of with the analogy with a prison, because I was thinking that if you're in prison and well you have like this big backyard and then you have food and healthcare and then you have like a media center where you can watch some movies and this and that, you might get used to it and be like, well, you know that's nice and everything, unless you try to get out of that and then you realize, there are some guards here and those motherfuckers, they just don't let me out, and you get more in prison now with this kind of I think Cody said that maybe it will become easier maybe in the future to travel because they may open more and more their borders. However, I also feel like I've seen that in airports they introduce this facial recognition. They introduce this kind of visas that are like, I think in China, and they also experimenting maybe in France. That's like they give you a social credit, kind of social credit, almost like in China, but based on your whatever your criminal record is, you have like a card or your face, and then you either have no priority to board the airplane, so those good guys have priority, or you'll be denied at the gates. You'll be like, not
Error.
So even if they
after
make
you pay for the
maybe
ticket?
look, even if just 1 second, I wanted to say that even if they make it look maybe that it's more open and so forth. I think these little things there with technology and so forth will make it's just an illusion. I think we're going to be even more like trapped, and we have to play by other kind of rules, like these social credit rules and the like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt that we will see much more openness in terms of borders in our lifetime, at least. It'll probably just maybe get more strict in some places.
So much
Yeah,
effort to.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead. Now you go ahead.
Okay, so I was just my question is, does it then finally just come down to who holds the guns? Because a border is meaningless if you can't defend it, or that's what people say. But it finally just come down to the guns then.
To the what?
Guns.
Guns.
Mm. Gun.
That's why U.S. is so good at protecting its borders,
Because that's
The
a
largest.
that's a problem that's not going to go, definitely not going to go away in our lifetimes. People are not going to give up their guns.
And guns. What are they going to do with their guns, though?
If they feel like it, they will shoot you in the ass. No, for fun.
Sweet.
It's easier to kill yourself, if you have a gun. Maybe it will be used like that. But I was also seeing a recent example now with looking like prisoners with China and the coronavirus. So I saw this documentary from Four Corners about it's quite new, like two days old, showcasing how in China because of this coronavirus infection, they really treat citizens, or many of them, as if they are prisoners. So there are cases where authorities go into like people's houses and they just drag them physically and then basically arrest them because they are suspected of having the coronavirus, or they just I've seen this crazy video of like police going to these buildings and how do you call that when you like not suing you the metal, you glue the metal. How the fuck do you call that? The doors, they just block the doors.
Oh, gee, like
welding.
Welding. We're welding the doors, on the entrance of the building.
Right.
So they keep the people there. It's like this is like over the top crazy, like nuts, and they feel like prisoners. It's like, okay, you go there, now you are suspected to have coronavirus, and they drag them, they split families apart, and it's fucking nuts, Jesus Christ. Because you are theirs, you're not just a human being on this planet. You belong to something. In this case, if you are Chinese, you belong to the government of China, and you are their property. So they do whatever they think is best, or whatever. Yeah, we're very scary. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine you are sick, you have a fever, and then these motherfuckers come there and they beat your ass and then put you into some quarantine. Like, okay, thanks a lot. It's not enough for the virus to fuck me up. Now you fuck me up.
Maybe because of that we'll see more deaths from the virus.
Right.
Otherwise, they could have healed at home.
They said that they take people who are suspected of viruses and they put in the same kind of improvised hospitals. And of course, some of people there, they might have coronavirus, and then they just spread to the other ones. And it was this dead guy from Australia who was trapped in China, and Four Corners was talking to the guy. He was petrified. He was like, oh my God, what if they take me and they put me all of these people, because the hospital is across the street from me, and I see people going there sick and coming out dead. And they put me there, and I fucking die, because I get the fucking virus.
And he couldn't leave? He was in that blocked off area?
Yeah, they couldn't leave. They couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so you shouldn't treat people like that, like prisoners, It shouldn't. For one, it's not even efficient. You just make them panic more and maybe lie, because you get scared. It's like you have symptoms in China. The guy said it very well. This Australian guy, he's like, I'm hiding from an invisible virus and a very abusive government. something like that. From the virus, not getting it, also from the government. No, it hasn't had you know.
God.
Good. That's not good.
Yeah. Because imagine, like, even if you're going to get a lot more people sick if you just throw them in one area, but there's still going to be sick people outside of that area, which will still infect others. I mean, you should,
Yeah. There was another funny thing when we were getting married. At one point, the paper, so imagine this, the paper match the reality. So we have there Sasha, okay, with even the official paper. So we even have some papers to back her identity up. So she's there with the original papers, and now the translated papers, it was a mix of like names, because she has 3 names, and then Russia identifies those names in one way, American the other way, and they're like, oh my God, we cannot allow you to get married because those names do not match these names. Here we have 3 names, and then we have 2 names. It's like, oh my God, the passport has 3 names. The birth certificate has 2 names. And they're like, we cannot do anything. They call this like supervisor. What can we do in this situation? They put it on speaker. And the guy was like, definitely don't do this marriage. Just definitely don't do it. No.
do not approve this. Do not approve.
And I'm like, what the fuck? It's almost like...
Yeah.
It's almost like... comparing I was comparing my blog, like if scientists will do the same, well, they observe a phenomenon like a tornado or a virus or an atom, instead of observing that and take data, no, they have some papers and they try to match the papers to the reality. It's like, oh, I don't think atoms exist. I read here and no atoms. I don't think atoms. That's what they do in society. Papers.
Yeah, and this was after I got, so the problem was that my birth certificate was translated a little bit different from my passport, even though it was kind of the same. And this was after we got all these papers from the embassy, all this, like, I swear this to the fucking official, and all these, like, declarations that we had to do, and then you have to get them notarized and official stamp and all this bullshit. It was at the end when we had all of these papers, and they clearly knew that this is my face, this is my passport, this is my birth certificate. But no, the translation wasn't exactly the same. Just because in Russian it's one way and in English it's another way. And I'm like, okay, so here's Romanian, neither Russian nor English. Like,
and they panic.
So,
oh my God.
That's
yeah.
the fast one.
And then we had to bribe the translator to like translate it the way that they wanted. So like to translate it like incorrectly, kind of. And they did it.
Because at one point they were like debating there, and then they asked me, this woman asked me, she looks at me and asks me, so what is her name? She asks me. I'm like, well, it depends who you ask. Like, if you ask Russia, it's this one. If you ask US, it's this one. And she's like, no, that's impossible. Well, that's what she fucking writes. That's what it says on the fucking things. What can I say now? No, that's not. No, it shouldn't be like that. It's impossible. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's just this crazy obsession with like documents and names and all this bullshit. Like, imagine I had changed my name at some point. Then you also have to have another document that shows that I was this person, and then now I'm this person. And like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I think it was a funny story in Romania, and I wrote that in my blog. Like, and I think it happens sometimes. A guy was declared dead by mistake. I know what the fuck happened. It was maybe an accident, whatever. And then the guy finds out somehow that he was declared dead, and he goes to like, look, dudes, I'm not fucking dead. Can we solve this? Because I think he couldn't like do anything, like get his salary or something, because he was declared dead. And they're like, well, we are sorry, but you are already declared dead, Like, what the fuck?
You've been declared dead for too long. I think that was the problem.
Yeah, you'll be declared dead for too long or something like that. Oh my God, this is crazy.
He's like, well, I'm alive. I'm here alive. Like, no, on the paper it says that you're dead.
Yeah, you're very much dead.
It's this crazy obsession with documents in our society. Crazy.
I think it's the document era. It was like the Bronze era, the whatever, Stone Age, whatever. This is the paper era or the document era. everything is about documents. You are not alive unless you have a document there. It says that you are alive.
Tio, can you talk about the conspiracy? Not the translator who was talking about the conspiracy theories
Oh
and
my
stuff.
god,
The piñata.
The piñata, yes.
dude, you've never seen this kind of thing in your life. Like we had a translator, we had to hire a translator to come and translate the stuff for us. And this girl, I mean, she was so nice, but oh my god, the first thing that she said, she wants to like read our horoscopes, and then she was talking about all kinds of like signs in nature and the fact that she has a virus maybe, but she, with the power of her mind, she's going to like push that away.
Okay.
Talking non-stop about this bullshit that I at one point I was
Follow the signs.
yeah, but at one point I was like, maybe they make fun of him. Maybe they just is someone that judging like my sister knows or something, that they just want to make fun of me or something, that they want to like put me in a fucked up situation because it's so stupid. Like I march against these stupidities for since all of my life, like with Trom, with whatever I made, and now to have someone who brings the cream of bullshit to bring them like there, and talk about everything. I was completely, I was like, I'm lost. I don't know what to say. You cannot argue with such people, Oh, God.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Because we kind of had to, we just had to like sit in an office and just listen to her for like 3 hours because they took so long with
God.
these stupid papers that we needed to translate and declare and all this bullshit. And yeah, so.
Wow.
Trying to fry
but
Teo's brain.
these are the people who accept this kind of bullshit things in the society and take that, it's normal, papers, marriages, this and that, whatever, and they don't care. It's like in China, people are like, social credit, it's nice. It's
Yeah, but
it's-
what you can do, you don't accept it, but you're still playing the same game.
Well, if you're,
We can complain about it, but you still,
Yeah.
go and get married and go and fly the airplanes and so on.
oh, of course, yeah, because you have nothing, you cannot do much.
Yeah,
But
that's
at
the
least-
thing. So that's not the people, it's not their like the people fault.
Oh, I think it's the people, because if most people are like that, then nothing will change anyway. So you have zero chance. But if there are some people who scream about these kinds of things, like slaves who said, okay, it's not right to own slaves, maybe eventually, they are still slaves today, but the situation improved in that regard.
Yeah, but it's a question about slavery also. It looks like the technology advancement was the key factor. That it was, the slaves became more like less. Shit, I forgot my words.
Relevant.
Yeah, less relevant. It was cheaper to start use technologies and automatic machines instead of the slaves. They just become not that profitable anymore. And it
Well, we
was
can
like
say the same thing.
one of the factors, of course. But
I mean, we can say the same thing today as well with automation.
yeah.
So but I think it was both factors. It wasn't just that they weren't so needed anymore. It was also the morality of it.
Yeah,
So if people don't understand that it's like wrong to have slaves, like that it's morally shouldn't be acceptable, then they wouldn't be so against it, and maybe it wouldn't phase out so fast.
But we still have slaves today, like real slaves.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in Africa, some trafficking and stuff like that.
Religion, take religion, which is this crazy idea, and you have, yes, I complain about religion, I don't accept religion, and maybe I was forced in my lifetime to go to church, but I would say that it's better to have people like that who comment about such things and make noise about the stupidity of such things and the nonsensicality of these things than to have Christians. If the rest are Christians or Muslims and so forth, I think it's way worse than having people in that population who are starting to be vocal about such things, because something may change out of these people being vocal. So in the sense, yes, I understand you, like, yeah, but nothing changes because you also were forced to get married. Of course, unfortunately, that's what happens, but that's how the world is. That's why I'm screaming, else I will not be screaming about it. Like,
yeah, but maybe it's not worth screaming, but invent some technology which will make those bullshit outdated.
Like,
invent technology that will make marriage outdated.
Yeah, kind
of like what?
some kind of mechanism. I don't know, but something when you don't need to get married to get some advantage of staying in one place or another, like
I mean,
erased all the
of course,
borders or something.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the main issue there is these borders. So of course we would love to figure out a way to not have these bullshit borders, but you know, how can we do that? I don't know.
Anarchy.
For now, what we can do is scream that it's a problem in the first place. I don't know what else we can do.
It was this great. It is this great documentary called "The Lord Is Not Here on Trial Today." You find it on videonet.com if you want. And it's about this woman who's like, her kid was not religious, but in US back then in like 1920s or something, pretty much everyone was quite religious and they were learning religion in school and so forth. And the kid started to get bullied in school because he was like, oh, I don't want to learn for religion. I think science is, because of his parents, science is the way to think about the world and so forth. He got bullied, he got like expelled from the school, and his mother like took them into court. Not only that, but like started to fight with the school, with everyone, made a lot of noise. And mostly or partially at least because of her, now they separated took religion out of being mandatory in schools in the US, So that's just one example of screaming.
Yeah, there are millions examples of those who screams and then they wake up and actually don't wake up. They just become dead or imprisoned for the whole life. And it's like majority of those people who goes against something, like the activists and so on, who stand up and vocalize the problem, and especially against something like governments or the churches, and like the first humans who were telling that the earth is round, they were like burnt on the fire and
they had an
stuff
impact.
like that.
They had some impact.
You're saying we're going to be burned?
No, it's like, who knows? It's like
maybe
you have to be
like a kicked off spin.
I think you have to be on the next level. Like if you will reach with your words like billions of people, then probably yes, you've got a high chance
of being assassinated or something. I guess
like or being imprisoned or just eliminated in some other way.
Yeah, and then
I guess. Be quiet. Like the good example, take the Snowden guy. I mean, he sacrificed basically his life, and now he's like in exile in Russia somewhere. For the thing he's done great thing, and there are like millions of examples like that. But yet nothing changed. I mean, he just wasted his life. I mean, we've got information of mass surveillance and everything, but those guys are getting better and better at it. Now they track us in such a way that it cannot even find it out. So you never know.
Yeah, but it's also, if you put it like, maybe you say that maybe that guy Snowden wasted his life, for doing this because he didn't have any impact. I know overall probably is not a big impact, at least for now. Is they still continue of spying that, but I don't think that's a way of thinking in any regards when it comes to such situations. These people just react to like an injustice, for example. Maybe most don't even expect to change anything, So probably that's what happens to us here, like with Trom and all of that. We react to something and we make some noise, I personally don't expect to change the marriage landscape or the whatever the fuck. I'm just voicing my frustration, and I say that it's not only sad, it's dangerous if most people just accept these things, because if they do, then I see little to no chance to ever change anything. That's what I'm saying.
Then maybe you should try to voice your things to a broader audience of people. I mean, that's what you want to do.
It's not like I'm doing this by choice. Like, let's choose some smaller audience.
But we know that. Okay, we get it. We get it to you. Okay, next topic. We agree with you. We're on the same level. That's like no doubt.
Well, one of my friends actually, like after she wrote my Prison Earth blog, she was like, "Oh, you're dreaming. Like what are you like? You're dreaming about a world with no borders. Like, don't be so silly,
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I'm not dreaming about any kind of world. I'm just talking about how this is fucked up, and I'm just voicing my, opinion about how this world is fucked up. And if you don't react, then I think you're just a fucking zombie. So I don't want to accept this. Of course I have to accept it the way it is. That's why, what choice do I have? I either stay here illegally, I become a fucking slave, or I marry Tio. So I kind of have to accept it. But at least the least thing I can do is just voice my fucking opinion about all this bullshit. So even if I don't believe that, okay, we probably won't achieve a world without borders in my lifetime. Maybe eventually we would. You would hope so, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea. If you're talking about getting to a broader audience, maybe you go to like your capital and then set yourself on fire.
Right.
Like with a bunch of people, just set yourself on fire.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's just working for one day. Next day.
Yeah. Right. We need
That's all.
That's all
consistency.
anyway.
We need a lot. Right, Cody. We need a lot of followers every day.
Every day somebody's getting on fire.
You have to be more original. I've seen this guy in Russia, I think Sasha, or who knows who showed that to me. He went in the front of the government or something building, and he like nailed his balls into
I think it's his penis.
the penis of the ball, or the balls or balls
Something.
into the pavement. He just nailed that, And then police came there like, how the fuck can we take this guy out?
Oh, that's original. Yeah.
That was original, But what these guys want, I have no idea. That's all I remember.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
That's the other problem. That's what everyone remember. His balls, not his ideas.
Right. Yeah.
So he was too creative.
Right. Yeah. I got to strike a balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort just trying to keep up the illusions of borders. Like a lot of effort just to make people think that there's such things as borders or like differences.
Right. These invisible lines in the sand that are lethally enforced.
Lethally enforced, yes. Great.
Yes, and they also separate people at the cultural level, because we think that we are Romanians and we are Italians and we are Americans or whatever, and then they separate each other, and then some viruses, some little creatures are like, hey motherfuckers, no, we don't see borders, and we jump to China, to Italy, and we don't see anything, we just infect people, and then the world is like, the borders don't work that well for this kind of thing. And climate change is like, I'm fucking you up your ass, from all directions. I don't think I'm Russia or China. So we have to fucking recognize this shit, at least to be like, look, we are a global species, promote this fucking idea, global problems and so forth. But of course, hard to penetrate these fucking borders and mentalities. The people have not only borders physically, mentally also, have a border.
True.
Yeah, of course, especially when they teach you, that there's an us and a them, and your country's number one, and
And there are some people who are very proud of being like they're nationalists, I'm so nationalist, like USA, or even in Romania,
America.
Yeah.
I can be so
every
patriotic
country.
in Romania.
I think for every country.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
And those people, it's so funny.
okay.
It's so funny that because I've met lots of these same people all over the world in their own countries that have never been outside of their own country, but they're so proud of their country, and it's the best country in the world. And they're all exactly the same, like regardless of what language they speak and where they're from, but they're all exactly the same, like, just the way they behave and the way they believe they're number one and don't know anything about the world. And
That's funny.
Yeah.
But at least, if you are from US, you can be proud of your great army, We can kill everyone.
Excellent.
In French, it's like the wine or whatever, In Italy, it's like, I don't know, pizza. In Romania, I don't understand, it's so difficult. People get frustrated. Like I'm a patriot. I don't know what to be patriot about. What do we have? Gray dogs. Okay.
Ooh.
The mayor was quite proud.
That was such a funny thing.
He
Like
was,
the mayor was like, "Oh my god, this fucking man." So he was like, first of all, he was like, "Tell her," because he didn't speak English, of course. Tell her that the Romanian people are intelligent and they are very intelligent.
Wow.
If you have to say that, my friend, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And this is like very proud. Romania, oh, beautiful country. Romania, tell her, Romania, beautiful country. They're the
Wow.
smartest people on earth. It's so amazing. Shut the fuck up. You take bribes and you like do all kinds of shit. And then we went to the nature part of the town, that same town that he's mayor of. Oh my god, there was mountains of garbage and dead dogs and other animals. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck is this shit?
Well,
But there's one nice street that the mayor created. He's so proud.
It's like 100 meters long, and it has like 200 garbage bins because it's a business. Garbage bins. It's beautiful.
well, you have to start somewhere
One street at a time.
Yeah.
from the main street. It's always the main streets.
Right.
And shopping mall streets.
Yeah.
But that's also a way that I almost noticed this division of people there at a micro scale, because it's like this small city in Romania that nothing is done collectively. You know, there are 10 times of kind of streets, 20 times of street signs, 100 times of garbage bins types. You know, nothing is done. Like if someone is rich there, they'll only make the street. Sometimes it happens in the front of the guy's house. You know, they only like rebuild the street there, not the rest. And I feel like the world is just a bigger representation of the same shit. You know, oh, we are US, just do that in US or France or whatever. Fuck those African countries. No, fuck them. You know? Yeah.
Fuck Mexico, build a wall.
Oh. That's best
Yeah, what
president.
Ever.
What happened to that? Huh? Did they build any wall? Anyone knows?
They're trying to build the wall, but it is numerous
The
reports of
Mexican
failures.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing special or tunneling is very much still going to be a thing.
So Noel, how did you get in there, man?
How did I get in here? Like,
Did you jump?
I swam.
And he
all
would
the way
have to
Yeah, he
swim
swam.
from Cuba.
He swam.
I swam.
This guy is
Power
smart.
arms.
Power arms. Yeah, I rode on the dolphins all the way to
Oh
Miami.
wow! Okay, right. Of course.
Then he gets to Florida and runs to TVP. Save me.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Nah, I came with plane, like, because my parents got like the fake marriage thing.
You are the
That's how-
special one.
Aha. Got to benefit.
I got the bit, yeah. But we do go back to Cuba, and there's like a lot of people, like in Romania, that bring a lot of stuff back from the United States. Yeah, there's people like huge luggages, just bringing a ton of stuff, because in Cuba there's like a huge scarcity.
Mm.
Like I don't know much about Cuba, and just whatever I've heard, like I think what you hear about, like in this from official sources, like, oh, Cuba, what the fuck is that? It's like it's this different kind of like it's communism or some shit, you know. It's a different kind of like, yeah, sure, you know. So it's paradise there.
It's paradise. Well, I guess with some limits, I guess.
How is it in
Well, yeah.
Cuba? Like, it's lots of poverty.
Not poverty in the sense like nobody really feels that. For me, I never felt poor or other people. It was more like everybody's kind of everybody's equally poor, so nobody knows that they're.
That's the way, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way. Nobody feels poor because everybody is.
Makes sense.
Oh, man.
There's free healthcare and there's like
Whoa.
a food ration system.
Oh, really?
So to make sure everybody gets something, I think, like, or at least
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you get that?
How do you get that? Like the rations?
Mm-hmm. You go to some. What?
There's since everything like there's stores, and you just go there and they give you like
A coupon or a card or something.
it's like a little booklet with like your rations depending on your family size and they'll give you like a certain amount of goods.
Is it enough?
Is it enough? I don't. From what I've heard, like, well, everybody complains in Cuba about if you go to Cuba, everybody complains. So I guess it isn't that good. Then you gotta buy it by like.
Can you sell those coupons?
Can you sell? Well, it's like a little booklet that they just wrote. So you really can't sell it. It's like attached to your license and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least you have like free healthcare.
Well, it sounds better than US, to be honest. I mean, in US you kind of get fucked if you are really poor. Like, no healthcare, no food, no one to feed you because no one can feed homeless people, so you get fucked. You know, I think people should migrate from US to Cuba if they are poor.
I guess, yeah. You'll get it like automatically a house. Get auto place in a house.
You also get a place.
Yeah, you do. You do get a place.
Dang.
Oh, look at these people. You know. So US talks shit about Cuba then.
Yeah, right.
Yes, it's a lot.
US tells me that it's a shithole. Don't go there. They are going to.
Everyone's starving.
Nah, they're pretty fat. I guess too much rice.
Rice and beans, yeah.
Rice and beans, yep. Rice and beans. That's the whole thing.
I've seen this this news story about in US the prescription drugs are so expensive that some private insurance companies they give people coupons, US people, for $500 to go to Tijuana, to go to Mexico, to get the prescription drug and come back to US because it's cheaper. It's cheaper than fucking going from the US. And it's for real. Like they were giving this fucking, which is very funny. Oh my
wow, that's
that's levels of absurdity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Greatest country in the world. Don't question.
No question.
Good question. Best America.
America #1.
That's the funny thing I found about America too, is that people like really from a young age implant this like stupid idea about freedom, and Americans seem to really believe that they're so free. But nobody seems to ask like, what does that actually mean? Like what do you
That's
mean
true.
you're free?
That is so true.
Yeah. Like, well, you know, because so many Americans don't know anything about how life is in other countries, and they're like, well, you know, at least in this country we can kind of like do what we want. And like, so what you think in like Europe or Australia or basically any country, you can't just do what you want? And what do you mean you can do what you want? Like, don't you have to work to get food?
To me, it seems the opposite in the US. Actually, it's like they equate free with like, because I've seen this argument when they're discussing free healthcare, like state healthcare versus private healthcare, and a guy was like from the US government or something was like, at least in the US people can choose their healthcare system. You know, they can choose what company to like sign with. I'm like, motherfucker, is like in Spain, it's like you get the least healthcare. Like, if that probably that's what they think in terms of free. Oh, I'm free to choose. You have no money, but you're still free to choose. Well, that's not kind of freedom, you know. It's not freedom, you know.
Yeah. You don't choose. You just choose what you can afford to, or the cheapest thing.
Exactly.
Because it has also freedom in the sense of like the market, you know, this capitalism system, and they say, I think that's what they kind of mean. They say, oh, you are free to do business here, you know, you're not like China where governments like it's like this on you with a clause, even though that's not true because in US it's the same. It's similar. Like look at Apple, look at Microsoft, look at all of these Silicon Valley things. That's the free, I think, in the American dream. You know, free to create the business and become Jeff Bezos. You know, look at Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, and it works. The idea, because in Cuba, there's many want to move to the United States. as well.
All the world want to move to United States.
All right.
Yes.
I thought that ended though, especially when Trump was elected.
No.
Even my father was like, "Oh, I moved you to the wrong country, didn't I? Should have brought you guys to Europe, not to the U.S."
Oops.
Wow.
Or Australia or something.
Right.
Yeah, but you see, regardless where you move, you should never forget that we are still prisoners. Like Spain is great, okay, free healthcare system for us, because Sasha doesn't pay taxes. I don't pay taxes. Then I hope those motherfuckers don't listen, but they don't understand English. So, but it's great. But you also have to respect shit. Like for example, here Sasha needs a residency card in order for her to work, and this motherfucker have this crazy system of like you go on their website every morning. You have to go on the website, fill in the form, click next, and they will say, "Oh, no more available." You have to do this hours and hours every day if you want to get an appointment to get a residency card in order to work. But it's such a broken system that people take months, maybe half a year, some, to get an appointment to this fuckery. So that's just one side. You're also, of course, trapped here with the laws, with the whatever, like contracts here. Like we also have to pay for a rent here, and pay for internet connection and so forth. So it's not like we shouldn't like praise too much these tribes as if they are great. We should never forget that they are still prison cells. Yes, with better offers than others.
That's true.
Yeah, because the fact is, I mean, if we have more empty houses than homeless people, then we could figure out a different system where people don't have to pay for housing. If we throw away 30% of our food, and like 2/3 or 1/3 of the population is overweight, and a few are starving, a few million, we should figure out a way to give people food for free.
It's
Once
bad
we
for
have
the
enough food.
economy. It's bad for the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
How would you
yeah.
keep the prices on the same level?
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Yeah, Spain has the biggest number of empty homes compared to homeless people in Europe. They have the biggest, I think, 3 million or so homes. Yeah, and it's worth repeating. In Europe, 3 times more empty homes than homeless people.
I mean, they're totally empty, or is just like not permanently?
No, they call them vacant homes. Probably that means a certain amount of months per year. Probably that's what they call that, or totally vacant. It's even probably the number is a lot larger because I don't think they include hotels, for example, that are many times empty, or you cannot properly measure all of this. So probably it's even worse as far as I've read from those reports.
And abandoned buildings, that are in decent shape. I'm sure those aren't included in vacant homes. But you can't touch those abandoned buildings, Well, unless Dima, maybe you know how.
Yes, friends. Yes. Okay. If you guys want to add anything, if not, we can migrate from this positiveness into something more.
Wow.
So that was positive.
It's as close as we're gonna get, Dima.
I knew that.
Enjoy it.
Well,
No, but next time we're really trying to get it positive because we.
No, man, don't.
I hope.
Don't do this.
Setting us up for failure.
Don't give us wrong impression, wrong expectations.
Yeah, so this guy may come to Trom-Cast and talk about some positive stuff, maybe about automation in the good sense. Unless Dima starts with his negativity about losing jobs because of automation.
Unless we keep our mouth shut, it's gonna be positive.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on, can I tell a joke? It's in Cuba.
Tell a joke.
There's an old man who goes to his practitioner, and he's told that his back has like a really bad problem, and if he doesn't change his mattress, he'll have to get surgery. So he goes to his friend, and his friend asks, "So what are you gonna do?" He says, "Oh, I'll wait for the surgery." the mattress costs like 1,000 pesos. The surgery's free.
Oh.
That's a,
Seems like a good price.
Yeah, it's a good price. Yeah, it's funny.
That's sad.
Yeah.
if you say it from the US perspective, it could change the joke, you know.
Right.
Just buy the fucking mattress because the
Yes, fucking no, it's only $1,000. Surgery will be
Do it.
50,000. Like,
That is
yeah.
true.
But maybe that's, yeah. I guess we kind of mentioned this already, but I mean, we should point out that, I mean, you are also a slave on this planet because you're forced to have a job at one point or another. You know, you're forced in a way to make money, and you can't really just go anywhere to just live on the earth. Like, try going somewhere to like live off the land. It's very difficult. You know, I think I talked about this before, that there was like a place on Hawaii that I knew about that's in a national park where there were a bunch of hippies like living in caves. And they had a garden, and you know, in Hawaii there's like avocados and mangoes and all sorts of fruit growing all the time. So these people, they were just living off the land, basically in the jungle, in the mountains. But even those people were kicked out eventually because it's national park, you know, it's owned by the government. And people, you know, these guys came in on helicopters to arrest the people living there.
Wow.
And they were just living, you know, not doing anything bad, you know, they were just living in the jungle, eating avocados.
What's bad about
And not
that?
working.
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah, people
dangerous.
look at-
They could get poisoned after this wild.
Oh,
alligator.
right. Yeah.
So it's better to take them off there.
Right.
saving
Right.
them,
We're
yeah.
doing it for your own good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they look at you in a ridiculous way if you mention that, oh, I'm just a human being. Can I be a human being on this planet? Yeah, like, oh, look at this motherfucker, you know. Look at this hippie guy, you know. But I'm asking some serious questions, like, why should we be owned, you know, by countries with passports and all of that? And all the time, you know, this argument is like, oh, else you'll be a chaos, you know, which I don't think it's true, because these papers and so forth, they only make things slower and they don't protect us from any fucking thing. So, fuck off. Look at all of the terrorists in the world; they all had passports. Okay, look at like all of the bad people in the world; they are registered, like whatever, birth certificate and every fucking thing. You know, they don't work.
Mafia.
But, yeah.
Anarchy.
It's bad. It's bad. But it's good. Okay. We
News
can,
time.
if you want,
Do the
if we
thing.
can go a bit through the news.
Doing the
We
thing.
should Dima should make a jingle for the news so people know when
Ooh.
news.
I'll do the transition and.
No, I don't think that's the music that Dima makes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I can make it anyways.
From news.
Yeah. Dun. Okay. Your first story is genetics and evolution in cancer.
See, motherfuckers, I have something positive for you. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
No, but this is a very positive news, like showcasing how for the past, like 10 years or so, without taking borders into consideration in that case, like from 37 territories, or let's call them tribes or countries, people work together, scientists, like thousands of scientists, to figure out what the fuck is happening with cancer, you know, and looking at the genome, you know, in the cell, take the DNA and then look at the fucking genome. And the sequence, it was the largest study, I think, like ever in terms of like genome, like in terms of diseases, to understand how the disease works. And they found out a bunch of like really interesting things about cancer, and they discovered like 5 or so mutations that lead to cancer. And I think one of the things that I was a bit surprised was that if like you could detect cancer if you had proper tools and so forth 10 years before symptoms in general. Like cancer is there in the cells. You could probably detect it even 10 years, you know, which is crazy. Imagine that 10 years before having any kind of symptom, looking at the genome, looking at those mutations, you know. So this could lead to a really interesting development when it comes to cancer, you know. So it's super interesting. Also, another thing from this is that they understood that cancer is like hundreds of times, many times more complicated than they imagined. So it's extremely complicated. There are some cancers for which they don't even know what's the trigger. Like we have no fucking clue. Discover nothing there. Some cancers. So yeah, that's a positive one. Like huge research into cancer.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And it was a massive. They published like 6 massive scientific papers and a lot more in other journals and so forth. So yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah.
Good. And the discovery of 1 billion-year-old microfossil.
Am I hearing positiveness here or what?
I think this could trend along positive.
Of course.
It doesn't count. It's just news.
Just
Think about positive, not
It's
just.
very negative.
Let's just use other people's positiveness.
Where was the negativity here? I was positive and Dima was like, "Oh, that's not positive." Yeah, you've heard about this fossil? Like, it's a billion years old. It's a seaweed. It's the oldest by far. I think the next to it is like 400 million discovered.
Yeah.
So this one is 1 billion years, which is fucking nuts. That's nuts. Yeah.
Lives has been around for a long time.
For a long time. It's been to capitalism and communism, starvation and all. Because I was discussing these days, guys, with Sasha, I was discussing how is that called? Amber. Amber. Like some creatures get trapped in this thing called amber. It's almost like a solidified gel that you could see those creatures so clearly through it. And they have some fossils or some just examples, because they're not even fossils, like the full body of, let's say, an insect that is like millions of years old. And you can look at it. It's like crazy. You should search online for like fossils in amber or something like that, or amber, like insects trapped in amber, and you'll see some really crazy shit there. Like I've seen this dragonfly that was 10 years old, trapped, perfectly preserved in amber. Another one was that I think like two mosquitoes mating or something like that.
Yeah.
Trapped while mating.
Something along those lines. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but it's like a bad day that will be remembered forever,
Is it gonna turn into Jurassic Park?
All right. Oh, that was like the premise for Jurassic Park. Is they found the things in amber and they brought them back to life, Teo.
Okay.
Maybe we'll be eating instead of cow, we'll be eating T-Rex meat or Triceratops.
Yeah, I'll try some of that.
Yeah, the livestock of dinosaurs.
Livestock.
Yeah, nice. Two positive news.
Right.
Cody, don't disappoint us.
Okay, so then the next one should be electronic nose sniffs out condition that can lead to cancer.
Look.
You went in order.
Shh.
Running a positive one.
Anyone read that one, or I will?
This is the only one I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you can detect cancer through smell, basically, like machines that pick up particles that can kind of sniff them, whatever that may mean. This is about I think what kind of cancer, like the food pipe cancer. I don't know, this kind of cancer, and it's quite accurate. It's basically how you do this breath test when you drive and people think, oh, you are so drunk, police,
breathalyzer.
Okay, breathalyzer. And it could be something similar to that, and they realized that it's quite efficient, but they are still in testing with this thing. But it's interesting that you can detect cancer from as a smell, basically, as something that triggers the smell detector, or the smell detector, like an artificial nose. So that's
Excellent.
excelente.
Excelente.
Cody, you did great. Don't disappoint us. Let's see.
You're setting me up for failure. Sure. Yep. So that's a straight up nope to you. I will instead give you the coronavirus has America's rushing to buy face masks. Maybe in the start of prevention of spreading the coronavirus, which would be a positive.
Good.
Stupid. You shouldn't do that, Cody.
It's good for the economy.
5 lashes. 5 lashes.
Yeah, I've seen that prices for masks increased, I think 6 times or so since January to February. The face masks, because people are buying them like crazy. I also read that they're not as efficient. Like, you should wear them only if you think you have a virus. You know,
Sasha.
I'll put the mask on.
That works for me.
Sasha in the same apartment. Oh,
Shit.
I'm fucked. I should order some masks now.
Yeah, right.
I had all these dreams last night that I got the coronavirus.
Oh God.
I had a headache.
What? This isn't
All
good.
this news about coronavirus.
Yeah, the masks are not as efficient. They say that if you want to protect yourself from virus, from taking a virus, you just wash your hands. That's the first thing that you should do. Wash your hands. You know.
Yeah, because I can see that a lot of people will be buying these masks, all sorts of masks, and the fucking price goes up. And then they'll be touching all sorts of stuff and then touching the mask and not changing it often enough. And then it's pointless, you know? So, yeah, don't freak out about masks, guys. It's more to not spread the disease. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just if you think you're infected, then you should wear a mask.
Then you don't care.
you have to go to a doctor.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you're in the US, it might be hard, you know. You don't have health insurance. Doctor costs like $100.
See, that's also, this can contribute to the spread of viral infections. If you have some symptoms and you're like, oh, fuck that shit, I'm not going to the hospital.
Yeah. I'll just power through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, Cody.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Freedom of speech, surveillance, and privacy in the time of coronavirus is a good thing somehow.
You're very negative.
I'm very. Jeez.
So did you read this one?
I did read this one. So, I mean, I guess this is kind of like combining China's dystopian surveillance nightmare with like controlling a pandemic and like yeah, it seems like a very convenient time for the coronavirus to hit, and then like, oh, now we can use like these facial recognition. Well, I mean, they're already doing that stuff, but like now you can get the population behind it, kind of thing. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think they're touting even like they could detect like fevers with facial recognition in like 0.3 degrees.
What?
So just yeah. So like just scanning like the heat coming off of like
Okay,
it's coming.
I mean, that could be useful technology.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, right. That's it being used for good, but
very useful. Yeah.
then the consequences for you know, being out and about illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
we have even a news there in the list about the artificial intelligence could be used to deal with such outbreaks. So you can use them for good, of course, but not to then spam people or whatever the fuck.
And yeah, they have apps as well that's like a close contact detector. So if somebody around you was infected, you're basically given like a heads up and stuff. And I think there's something like you have to be able to like scan to get through certain places and stuff. You have to be basically.
The interesting is like we have to mention that it's important not only to detect those fucking things, but to have a system in place that deals with it. because there's no point in scaring people. Like, oh, your neighbor has coronavirus, you know? Okay.
Thanks.
You know, have a system in place to take care of it.
Yeah, and don't just scare the shit out of people. Treat them, you know, help them.
That's true.
So that's all. That's all, Cody.
You mean for this article or for the news?
All of the news, huh?
For the news, no, you still have two very not positive headlines. Oh, well, I mean, okay, could speculation. It's speculative. So
Which one?
could artificial intelligence have predicted the coronavirus?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
We also that's the positive news, Cody.
Okay.
Not in the China context, you know.
Right. True.
Yeah. And the other one was about the coronavirus. So some activists got imprisoned because
yeah.
the coronavirus. It's illegal, probably.
They got disappeared pretty quick.
They got disappeared.
Just fucking help me find my son.
Yeah. Well,
So, yeah.
it's China, you know. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. His organs are safe in somebody else's body somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for the news. You do have some activity in the chat though. Some questions.
Where, friends?
Okay.
In the YouTube?
Yeah. So, sorry. One was asking potentially about us, if you're in contact with Peter Joseph at all, or Zeitgeist.
No. I think I emailed Peter Joseph a few times, but I think he only answered one time or something. I was thinking to email him and ask if he wants to talk about the Interreflection movie, if he wants to come to maybe Trom-Cast.
Right.
But that's the one, whatever. So maybe because I want to do this maybe new thing for Trom-Cast and bring people from different kinds of other similar organizations or projects and have them there and discuss about a general subject, say automation, if this guy does something in that regards, or open source or something. I think it could be interesting, you know. So yeah, maybe I will email him.
That'd be cool.
And then we got an invite to a Zoom call, something Sunday, something talking about your train of thought.
Zoom call.
A Zoom call. So I guess just like an alternative to Jitsi or something like that.
But why would we go to Zoom?
Well, not that we'd. I guess it'd be like a bunch of people, and then you would be their guest, almost kind of thing. It would seem like, or Trom. Yeah, right.
Oh well, they can email. They can email me. It's quite easy. They contact me to Trom site. Just go to contact page, and so that I know more. Yeah, I'll like it for sure. Yeah.
Righto. I think that was it.
Okay, so positive comments. No more.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing bad about us, right?
I'm good. Mostly, I ignored most of that, but yeah.
Just delete those.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
already
thanks.
gone. Yeah, right, filtered right out.
I think you might delete them.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Another
Yes.
corona-free Trom-Cast. Excellent. Well, I mean, Sasha. I don't know if we got Sasha next week. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
If you don't get her, you may not get me either. Because I'm very close. Now we are married, so I've seen that it spreads a lot through like marriages.
Yeah, right.
Through those documents, you know it goes.
Right. Right from one.
But you can
Once you sign a document, you get the virus.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Share
You can
50-50.
extract a statistic like that if you want. You can look at people, and those who are married, I'm sure, are more prone to infections, to like viral infections than those that are not married. But probably they fucking stay together, you know. And
I think those that live together probably.
yeah, but
I think
married.
that's the case. It's not the documents or something.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is the document.
Maybe the virus likes the documents.
Okay, guys. See you
Okay.
next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it
Good
next
Adios.
Adiós.
Adiós.
Hasta la
Adiós.
vista.
Next one in español.
Está bien.
Bye.